Evaluation of risk takes into account many factors. During risk assessment, attention should be given to the most severe hazards first. The most severe hazards are those that result in the worst health-related outcomes. Through risk assessment, it is possible to determine the potential negative impact of a hazard on consumers, the environment, operations, personnel, equipment, cost, and the entire system itself. Those who analyze risk have developed a formula to rank potential hazards. The formula has 4 components: risk, severity, probability, and exposure. At its most basic, the formula looks like this: risk equals severity times probability times exposure. The probability or likelihood of exposure can be estimated by a history of incidents, as well as by industry benchmarks. Because probability can be defined in terms of occurrences per unit of time, events, population, items, or activity, the equation can be simplified by combining the probability and exposure variables, resulting in the formula risk equals severity times the probability of exposure. The equation clearly shows the connection between severity, probability of exposure, and risk. As the severity of a hazard or the probability of exposure to the hazard increases, so does risk. So, for example, if the severity of a hazard is high, but the probability of exposure is very low, then risk is not as great as it would be if the probability of exposure also were high. Understanding the effect of severity and probability of exposure on risk makes it easier for food safety managers to rank potential hazards in terms of risk.